Hi, my name is Hannah and I am part of Adal Heritage. On the 23rd of August 2025, we visited Abasa. This is Abasa, a medieval site that is located around 50 kilometers north of Boroma in Awdal. It is a large site with more than 200 houses, 2 mosques, 2 graveyards and a building with wide walls and a monumental entrance. It has been visited by various figures and archaeologists over time. Richard Burton, who wrote First Footsteps in East Africa, visited the ruins of Abasa in 1854 on his way to Harar. He mentions that according to the locals, the town was known as Darbira Kola, Kola being the name of a queen who ruled the city in the 16th century and who fought against the neighbouring town of Obube, which is located 34 kilometres northwest of Boroma. He described his journey across the Abasa Valley and the ruins that he saw, as well as the wells which were filled with rubbish. The site was visited by British archaeologist Alexander T. Cowell in the 1930s, who took photographs of the ruins. He also donated materials that he found to the British Museum. These imported materials were Islamic and Chinese pottery that were dated to the 15th to 16th centuries, but could have been dated to the 14th century. Local handmade pottery was also found. There were further visits from archaeologists in the 1970s and more recently in 2001 and 2018. Unfortunately, the ruins have deteriorated even further and are now mostly covered by cacti. However, locals are well aware of all the historical sites and have discovered more buildings by clearing sand and digging. In an article written by one of the Spanish archaeologists who most recently visited Abasa, there was speculation about one of the buildings they discovered which wasn't mentioned by previous visitors. Rodriguez calls it the monumental building whose function is undetermined. It features an entrance which is a long corridor built with big flat stones. He speculates that it most likely was a public building whose function could have been related to civil administration. This could be evidence of what local Awdal historians have already mentioned regarding Abasa and its role during the Adal Sultanate. This building could in fact be the customs house mentioned by these historians, where taxes were collected from merchants travelling from Sela on their way to Harar or other places. The location of Abasa is a strategic one. It is one of the routes that travellers can take from Sela through the Harawa valleys and onto Harar and the interior. Locals still know Abasa by the name Darbira, which means forts, and they are diligent in taking care of what remains of this medieval city. More excavations are certainly needed, but more importantly, support for the locals who are the caretakers of this land is a must. Thank you for watching this video from Adal Heritage. Please like, share and subscribe.